How's it going, guys? It's your boy CanDoKen, and welcome to my Hu Tao guide video. 4.1 is getting ready to release, and Hu Tao is getting a rerun alongside our new Hydro DPS Nouvellette. So I figured I'd go ahead and put together a quick and easy Hu Tao guide. It's going to be a little more hands-on, not a whole lot of editing and whatnot. So if you do want more detail, you can ask a question in the comments. I'll always respond. Or you can go check out another person's guide. I know when I was struggling to build characters, I used to watch a lot of Sevi guides. So I'd strongly recommend her if you're needing a little more context to your guides and whatnot, a little more flashy editing and stuff. Also, I just wanted to say I appreciate all the support on like the last two videos. I've never felt like this motivated to continue making content and whatnot. We're almost at 1,000 subscribers now, and that's been a goal of mine on this channel for I don't know how long, years, and we're almost there. So if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing, you know, leaving a like or whatnot to help the video get more traction and stuff. We're almost at 1K. If we could make 1K, that would honestly make my day. It's really been a goal of mine for a minute, but enough of that. Let's get into the guide. So for those of you who don't know, Hu Tao is a Pyro single target DPS character. She needs a lot of elemental mastery and Hydro. She'll vaporize her charge attacks with that, and it does pretty decent damage. If we look at her skills, her normal attack, charge attack scaling is very, very high, 228% of her attack. That's a pretty decent amount at level 9. Let me see. Her skill is another integral piece of like her whole kit. It increases her attack based off of a percentage of her HP. So she's not an HP scaling unit, but she does use her HP to scale her attack. It's slight wording differences we got going on there. Basically, if you look at this, the attack increase right now at level 9 is 5.9% of her max HP. So if you take your max HP, multiply that by 5.9%, you'll come out with however much attack you'll then get, and that's outside of like weapon bonuses and whatnot. For her elemental burst, it's basically a pyro nuke. You apply Hydro on the enemy, activate your skill, then do your burst, and it does a ridiculous amount of damage. It's pretty good. It also heals you for the amount of enemies that you hit with it. So it's kind of, you can use it as like a damage nuke or an emergency, like, oh, my health is too low, I need health, nuke, you know, get some health back. Pretty much how it works. Her passives aren't too great, I would say. After her elemental skill ends, it gives her party some crit rate. I mean, I've never really found myself leaning on this too much, but I mean, maybe it comes into play somewhere. I'm not very sure. This is the real meaty part of her kit is when she's below 50% HP, she gets a 33% pyro damage bonus, which is pretty good. It's decent for. It allows her to kind of be run off of like Bennett teams, but for real, her strongest teams are still with Bennett in the end, so it's kind of, yeah, it's okay. It's a good passive. Basically, you want to prioritize normal attack talent and equally, probably just sort of equally, maybe like 1 inch below for her skill priority, but pretty much these are equal. The burst is sort of an optional thing. It can lead to fat damage if you're building her correctly, but you don't have to rely on, like, her burst isn't like the main source of her damage, so you don't have to level it if you don't want to. We're gonna get into artifact sets in a moment, but just to start it off, when it comes to artifact main stats, since she's a DPS character, her circlet is going to be either crit rate or crit damage depending on what weapons you're running. Her goblet is going to be a pyro damage bonus, and her hourglass or her sand is either going to be HP or elemental mastery. From my own experience doing a little bit of damage testing, elemental mastery generally comes out on top in most scenarios, most calculations, but that could be because I run Homa. I'm not too sure. I didn't do it without Homa, but I ran her in double Hydro and like a more hyper Hu Tao team, and in both of those, Elemental Mastery came out on top. As for artifact sets, if you're not able to farm artifact sets yet, basically you want anything that increases crit rate, charge attack damage, max HP, Elemental Mastery. So you can run something like a 2-piece max HP bonus, 2-piece attack, charge attack, crit rate. You could run the 4-piece set of this, crit rate bonus, HP is below 70%, crit rate increased again, and then you could run it in Elemental Mastery Sand. You could run that. Instructor, you get a lot of Elemental Mastery from this set. So basically you can get all of your Elemental Mastery requirements, which is about 250, maybe 200 to 300. You can get all of that from here. Basically, I think that's it as far as 4-star sets are concerned. But when it comes to her 5-star sets, the Crimson Witch is generally what everyone runs. It has a 2-piece set that gives a pyro damage bonus of 15%. 4-piece set increases overload, burning, burgeon damage by 40%, and vaporize and melt damage by 15%. When you use her skill, it gives you a bonus 50% of the 2-piece set. So it's a pretty strong set for Hu Tao. You can also run, I believe, the Retracing Bolide set with Zhongli, but that's a very like niche set. As you can see, I haven't even touched it, so I wouldn't recommend that. You can run the Shimenawa set, which gives you an 18% attack bonus, and it also takes a bit of your energy when you activate your skill, and it increases your normal charge and plunging attack damage by 50%, which is very strong. I've seen a lot of people running this instead of the Crimson Witch, which and a lot of people do say that this is stronger. I think I first started building my Hu Tao with this set, and I wasn't seeing like super great results, so I went ahead and did Crimson Witch. But this is an option for you. We also have the Gilded Dream set, which I think Jello Impact, I think his Hu Tao is actually built like this. You can get pretty much all of your Elemental Mastery requirements from this set alone, which allows you to build other substats on your pieces and not have to worry about getting Elemental Mastery in your substats, which could be good for you depending on how your account stacks up right now. And here's a 4th set. No one's running this, but I just wanted to put it out there so you can't say I didn't warn you. The new Marachelse Hunter set gives a normal and charge attack damage bonus of 15%. When HP increases or decreases, your crit rate increases by 12. So Hu Tao can pretty much activate this like once on her own. If you run her with like a healer like Bennett, you can probably get away with like 2 or 3. You could probably max it out, to be honest with you. So that's another option you have. You can get like a 36% crit rate bonus using this set, which might be good. I don't know. I haven't seen anyone run it. Don't take my word for that. Could be good, maybe not. So the meaty part of it, Hu Tao's weapons. She has a ton of weapons, and with Fontaine's release, we got the new battle pass weapons. She got another weapon in the battle pass. So obviously, Staff of Homa, best in slot. If you have Sino's weapon, the Staff of Scarlet Sands, that's her runner-up weapon. The Ballad of the Fjords, which is the battle pass weapon, gives like 240 EM R5. So get 5 battle passes and you pretty much have a disgusting weapon. It scales off crit rate, so your crit rate needs are sort of sorted with this weapon, and your EM needs are completely sorted with this weapon. You come out with 240. So that's that. Up until just now, the Dragon's Bane was her best in slot, like free to play low spender option. Deathmatch was below that. Primordial, basically, if the weapon has crit rate, you can use it. If it has a combination of crit rate and EM, like the Ballad of the Fjords, that's what you want. If it increases HP, you can use that. I think the Missive Windspear gives a massive attack bonus, and I think you do get a little bit of EM too, so that's pretty nice for her. And here are some of the damage calculations based off of her, how they compare to her lowest value option. Staff of Homa, obviously, Scarlet Sands, Ballad of the Fjords. So just take a look at that real quick. If you have Dragon's Bane R5 and it's leveled up, honestly, if your Hu Tao is built that way, you probably don't need to change weapons. But if you do, if you're like trying to squeeze every bit of damage out, honestly, the Staff of Fjords or the Ballad of the Fjords is definitely a good upgrade if you're willing to get the battle pass. Or if you're thinking of pulling Homa, 100% good option. As you can see here, Dragon's Bane's 120% of Black Pole, and Staff of Homa is 136. It's a pretty decent upgrade at R1. So I would say if you're thinking about pulling it and you're gonna pull the weapon anyways, don't feel too bad about it. Homa's a pretty strong weapon, and it's almost like a universal weapon, really. I was running it on my Shinha. She gets a lot of attack from it. It's just a really good weapon for any sort of DPS who wants to do some damage. Now for her constellations, I would say Hu Tao's constellations are really mid, to be honest. I mean, C1 is her best in my opinion, and because it gives you the you don't use stamina when you do a charge attack, which is pretty damn solid for a quality of life update for her. The Blood Blossom damage, no one really cares. Increasing your levels, that's fine. Again, Blood Blossom damage increases party crit rate, and Hu Tao doesn't receive this crit rate bonus, so it's like, who cares? And then her last one is pretty solid. If you ever take a death hit, you don't die, and you come back with, what is this? All elemental and physical resistance increased by 200%. I've never seen this stat used, like physical resistance or elemental resistance. I've never seen that stat used on our characters. So I'm not sure if that makes you a god or immortal or how that works, but you do get it, and your crit rate's increased by 100%. So you could probably do some really cheeky like 300 crit damage builds and then die and then come back with 100% crit rate and vaporize people. I don't know, you could probably do some really cheeky stuff. I think that's pretty nice, a pretty cool constellation. But honestly, at C1 you pretty much have the entire Hu Tao experience wrapped up in a nice little bow, so there's no reason to really go above that for real. The main thing you want to understand about Hu Tao is she has combos that you need to do in order to do damage, right? Because as we saw, her charge attack has the majority of her scaling on it, and if you're trying to hit raw with the charge attack, it's not going to be that great, right? I mean, it's very slow, very kind of not user friendly. So the main part of her thing is when she's in her skill state, she gets way faster charge attacks. And if you look at anyone else's guides, they'll say that N1C is the combo you want to do. N stands for normal attack, 1 stands for once, C is charge attack. So N1C is just normal charge. That's it. So you activate the skill, normal attack and hold, and you get a normal attack with a charge attack. That's it. That's literally her first combo. Now you add jump to that, you get N1C jump. And that's her quickest, like, if you want to learn how to do Hu Tao damage, that's the quickest way to do it. N1C jump. This works if you're at C0 and C1. Another thing you can do if you want to squeeze out a little bit more damage is in 2C, which is normal attack twice, charge attack. You can also end that with a jump if you want. So N1C jump, N2C jump, N2C jump. And this is like her highest damage, like easiest to execute combo that she has. If you have C1, which is it makes the charge attacks not cost stamina, you can actually do N2C dash, which gives you a little bit of iframes, a little invincibility, and it increases her damage potential quite a lot because you can attack a lot faster. You can get back to the action a little quicker. When I'm doing the abyss with her or fighting like strong content, I do N2C dash. You will run into an issue sometimes where like you can't dash and you'll end up like zooming past the enemy, so you do got to pay attention. Sometimes your dashes will still be on cooldown, so you need to make sure. You might have to do like a N2C dash, N2C dash, N2C jump. So just look out for that. But other than that, into C is probably like the only combo you'll ever need with her. I use it all the time, and it clears the abyss with, not with ease, because Hu Tao doesn't clear the abyss for some freaking reason, but it will clear if your Hu Tao is doing the damage. It will clear the abyss. You don't have to worry about any other complicated combos or anything like that. For her teams, generally how you run her is on a double hydro core, and it's for a few reasons. Because when you run 2 hydro characters, as you can see, you get a maximum HP increase of 25%, which is really solid, because as we recall, her HP is converted to attack based on her max HP. So this instantly is a Hu Tao buff just for having 2 hydros on a team. It increases survivability, and because they're hydro characters, they also receive buffs based on their max HP. And and Zhongli also gets a shield bonus. His shield gets fatter because of his max HP. So this team all around very solid, very synergistic, very strong. It's just a really good team. And since we have 2 hydros who both apply pretty strong hydro, it basically guarantees Hu Tao vapes every single one of her hits. It's just super solid, super great team. And if you run a double hydro team with the HP bonus, it further kind of gives you more of a reason to run an elemental mastery sand over an HP one, because you're getting a lot of HP from a lot of sources, and the elemental mastery sand just further, you know, it makes sure you're not overcapped on HP basically. Now this is the other team, which is sort of like a Hu Tao hyper team. It's not complete as of yet, but with 4.2, when Furina comes out, I'm already seeing the hydro application plus damage bonuses. We will officially be able to replace Sing Cho on the Hu Tao hyper team and be able to run Bennett, Kazuha, Furina, and Hu Tao, and that team is going to be a menace. It's going to be a monster. Hu Tao is going to see like a major resurgence in players. I can almost guarantee it. I know a lot of people don't believe, but just take my word for it. You're going to be seeing a lot of people really salty that they didn't pull Hu Tao this time around. Whereas like before, I would have said like maybe Hu Tao wasn't like the best pull, the most responsible pull with the Hydro Archon coming up. But in terms of synergy, you probably couldn't go wrong with pulling Hu Tao at this time. Also, when it comes to running Bennett, I notice a lot of people say don't run Hu Tao with Bennett because he overheals her and she won't be above, or she won't be below 50%, so she'll be losing her down, yada yada yada. That's not necessarily true, because it's such a simple solution, but no one thinks about it. If you just go to your Bennett, take off his flower, take off his HP goblet, take off his healing bonus circlet, you reduce the amount that Bennett heals. So even if it's for only a little bit, Hu Tao can stand inside of Bennett buff and get his buffs and still be below 50% HP. There's literally no problem with running it like this. It heals enough where you won't die, but it doesn't heal so much where like you can't use them. It's such a simple solution, but for years people been saying don't run Bennett with Hu Tao, and it took me 5 minutes to come up with this solution. I don't know, like the Genshin community sometimes, man, I don't know about y'all. That about wraps it up for my Hu Tao guide. I wanted this to be just like as short and cut and dry as possible. There's probably some stuff that I missed, to be honest with you. If you have any other further questions, just comment it down below. I will respond to it. I respond to every single comment. I freaking love responding to the comments. Again, if you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. We're almost at 1K, and like that would truly make my freaking day, man. But as always, thank you guys for watching and being here to support me, and I will see you all in the next video. Deuce.